Welcome to the Empty Nest Era, the podcast that helps you navigate life after the kids leave home. I'm Jamie Chin, licensed marriage and family therapist and mom to two amazing daughters in their 20s, and I'm here to walk alongside you as you rediscover yourself, reconnect with your partner, and redefine your relationship with your adult children. Let's begin this next chapter together. Hey there, welcome back to Empty Nest Era. I'm your host, Jamie Chin, licensed marriage and family therapist, and your friendly guide through this weird and wonderful season of life we call the empty nest. If you're here, chances are you're standing at the edge of the nest, maybe clutching a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and wondering, what in the world happens next? Well, today we're talking about just that. How do you prepare for an empty nest? Grab your earbuds, your beverage of choice, and maybe a box of tissues, because we're diving into the practical and the emotional side of prepping for your little birdies to fly. Let's start with the emotional stuff, shall we? Because I hate to break it to you, but this is not just about packing up dorm room bins and binging on college checklist videos. And I'm sure you're doing tons of that. Preparing for an empty nest can feel like turning the last page of a beloved book and realizing you're both satisfied and a little heartbroken that it's over. You've been mom or dad, carpool queen, snack coordinator, chaos manager, and now you're wondering, who am I when they're gone? Will they even need me anymore? Or can I follow them on Life 360 without looking unhinged? Here's the truth. Feeling grief, anxiety, even a little jealousy that they're about to embark on a new adventure while you stay behind is totally normal. And yes, you're still allowed to love your kid and also fantasize about converting their bedroom into a yoga studio or man cave. It's called balance. One idea that is helpful for some people is that they can start journaling their emotions now, before your child actually moves out. So don't wait until that goodbye moment to unpack all the emotions that you're feeling. I always tell clients, emotions are like house guests. The longer you ignore them, the louder they get. Okay, let's talk practical. Because let's face it, emotional work aside, someone still needs to buy twin XL sheets and figure out what a meal plan flex dollar is. Here's a quick checklist of 3 things you can do to prepare for launch day. 1. I call this the adulting boot camp. Teach them how to do laundry. Yes, even if you've tried 10 times, this time make them do it. My oldest daughter had to show so many people how to do basic laundry in her dorm freshman year. Talk about an unsung hero. Also, make sure they know how to schedule a doctor's appointment, manage a basic budget, and yes, cook more than cup of noodles. You don't need to turn out a Julia Child before they leave, but everyone can learn how to make simple dishes like spaghetti, tacos, and an easy stir fry. 2, have the life talk. Cover things like boundaries, checking in, social media etiquette. Don't tag them in your crying selfies. That etiquette point is for you. And consent. These are all really important subjects when they're starting to branch out on their own, especially if they are going to be having roommates, because, you all hear the roommate horror stories. Things can definitely get out of hand. So kind of talking about some of these things beforehand can be really positive so that they have a clue about how to deal with some of these situations. You should also share your expectations, but also ask for theirs about different things. It's a two-way relationship now, and you're going to have to decide, how often are we in contact? Are we going to have, family FaceTime calls? What are things going to look like now? And number 3 is to get your own house in order. Organize your finances. Empty nesting can be a financial shift. Less groceries, but maybe more tuition. Take a realistic look at how the empty nest will impact you and make adjustments if needed. You should also look at your schedule. How much of it was filled with your child's life, and how will you fill it once they are gone? Now, here's the part where things start getting exciting. And this is really about reclaiming your identity. You didn't just lose a role. You're gaining something too. It's called freedom. It might feel foreign at first, like, wait, I don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. for marching band practice? What is this strange feeling? Rest? This is your time to rediscover yourself. So let's play a little game. I call it, Who Was I Before I Was Mom or Dad? Write it down. What hobbies did you have? What did you always say you'd do if you had more time? What kind of life did you imagine for yourself at this age? And hey, if your answer is sleep more and watch Netflix without interruption, that's a valid point. No judgment here. Rediscovering identity is one of the healthiest ways to prevent empty nest depression. You are still a whole and evolving person. Next, let's talk about the balance between connection and freedom. It's tempting to want daily updates, especially in the beginning. But here's a reminder. Just because they don't call every day doesn't mean they've forgotten you. It probably means you did a great job. Some healthy communication rhythms include, these are just possibilities. Your family is unique and you can decide what's best for you, but ideas are Sunday check-ins. You call them or they call you. It's just part of the weekly routine. Or just sending memes or TikToks that you think that they would love. Or care packages that are more fun than nagging. Like maybe don't include, 5 pages of unsolicited advice. Give them space, but also let them know, I'm here, always. Here's what no one often tells you about the empty nest transition. You will feel weird for a while. You might grieve harder than expected, and you might also find yourself laughing more than you thought. I've heard people say things like, I didn't realize how much of my identity was tied to my child's schedule. Hence the term soccer mom. Or I've heard people say, I didn't know I could feel both devastated and relieved. So I tell you what I tell them. You are not broken, you are becoming. Give yourself grace. Now, let's wrap up with some simple actions you can take right now to start preparing. 1. Create a ritual for their goodbye. Something meaningful that honors the transition. Perhaps a heartfelt letter, a small gift, or a shared dinner. I know parents that sometimes will sneak a letter in their room, maybe put it under the pillow or somewhere or in the desk that they'll eventually find it. Sometimes parents will sneak some money into the room, like maybe make it fun for them to find a $20 bill here and there. One thing that I thought was especially funny is that some parents would actually put like maybe a $20 bill underneath the sheets so they would know how long it took their kid to actually wash their sheets when they, found the $20 bill and, called and said, hey, thanks. So that's kind of funny. Another idea with some simple actions you can take, number 2, is start your own project. Like, what do you want? What have you been longing to do that you just haven't had the time or space for? Maybe it's starting a book club. Maybe it's a home reno project, or maybe a new fitness routine. Third, you can join a community, maybe even this podcast community. Fourth, you can talk to a therapist. Yes, even us therapists need therapy, and it can help so much. In fact, I need to schedule an appointment with my own therapist, Melinda, ASAP. I will cry buckets of tears when she retires, which I suspect is not that far off. Even though I don't see her but for an occasional maintenance session these days, she gets me completely, and that feeling is priceless. So if you need help navigating through this transition and think you would benefit from working with someone one-on-one, I really urge you to find an amazing therapist because it can make all the difference. Well, folks, that's it for today's episode of Empty Nest Era. I hope you feel a little more prepared, a little more seen, and maybe even a little bit excited for what's ahead. I know that we didn't delve really deep into these subjects, but I hope that at least gets your mind starting to think about ways that you can think about preparing for the empty nest journey. Remember, this new chapter, it's not the end, it's your beginning. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Empty Nest Era. If today's conversation resonated with you, don't forget to follow, share, and leave a review. It helps other empty nesters find this supportive space. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust your journey, and remember, this is your time now. Finally, I want to note that this podcast is for education only and is not a replacement for therapy. I suggest you seek out the help of a trained professional for help with your specific situation if needed. Thank you.